Yes, first down before 3. Okay, 3 gens. I can do... Oh. It's going to be one of those games. Right. Hello, Streamland. This is the Bearded Hammer, and I'm here to teach you how to suck as the Trapper. Step 1. Play as the Trapper. The Trapper is much maligned in the DbD community as one of, if not the worst killer in the game. In fact, most Trapper mains hang out with Pinhead as one of the few people that will understand the masochism that they live with on a day-to-day basis. Now, as one of the first 3 killers and the poster boy for Dead by Daylight, he is usually one of the first killers the new players who don't know any better and actually paid the full price of the game gravitate towards. Now, on the bright side, your first couple of games are typically going to be against newer players. But guys, let's be real. This game's been out for almost 6 years. The young blood is getting kinda thin at this point. Now, the Trapper's power, if we want to call it that, is he has a lot of bear traps that he can place around on the ground. So, to suck properly as the Trapper, make sure you don't place these down anywhere near the beginning of the game. Also, avoid placing them in frequently used loops, near generators, or by any hooks you might use later. Also, make sure you place them in obvious, easy to see, or out of the way places. This will help survivors to avoid the traps so they don't step in them. Also, placing them while the survivor's head is turned around looking directly at you is ideal. This way they know exactly where that trap is, and they can communicate this to their buddies on Discord. The less thought and planning you put into the placement of your traps, the more you're going to suck as the Trapper. The next thing you're going to want to do is find someone with a flashlight who is clicking at you. This is a gentle invitation to try and catch them in a friendly game of tag. And just like YouTube, you must always fall for the clickbait. The survivors will proceed to do something called looping. And depending on how experienced this survivor is, will depend on how long it takes you to catch them. And they will almost always have the killer's little helper to sucking called Dead Hard. This is a perk that will ensure that once you try to tag the survivor, they will make a little leap forward just out of your grasp and extend this chase even longer. Oh, what fun this game of tag is. And it will continue for an extended period of time. Now, other guides might tell you that after 5 to 10 seconds, if you're not close to tagging that survivor, to go elsewhere and find someone else. But not you, good sir. You're going to suck right and proper and chase that survivor upwards to 3 minutes. This is because your level of commitment is unrivaled. And because commitment's important in all aspects of life, Cheryl! Sorry, got a little sidetracked there. Back to the guide. Just think of how satisfying it is going to be once you have downed that survivor. Once you've dropped the survivor, you have 1 or 2 good options available to you. First, hook the survivor on the nearest hook and immediately leave. Don't place any traps that might slow down other survivors or alert you to their presence. Or, the other option you have, and this is by far the better one, make an attempt at taking the survivor to the basement, regardless of the distance. Trust me, they might get off your shoulder a few dozen times, but the sense of accomplishment of getting that basement hook will be amazing and well worth it. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Once you've accomplished this, again, just like before, immediately leave to find a new chase or to get someone off a gen. What happens in that basement stays in that basement. Unless, of course, it's dropping a survivor. You need to pick them up and take them out of the basement and hook them outside. This is only right and proper and quite sporting. Also, while in the basement, make sure not to place any traps here or here, as a survivor could easily miss it and get trapped. Now, if that should happen, and a survivor accidentally steps in one of your traps, you should almost always avoid getting to the trapped survivor. They got themselves in that mess, they can work themselves out of it. Honestly, The only time you should go assist this survivor is if they are on the other side of the map and you're currently in a chase with a different survivor. This will give the survivor you were chasing a chance to catch their breath, which, let's be fair, is just sporting. Now that you know how to suck as the trapper, let's look at some really good perks for him to help you suck even more. For perks, I recommend Deerstalker, which lets you find all those down survivors you're not dropping. Distressing is going to make sure everyone's got a large heads up that you're on the way for a good game of tag. Unnerving Presence, which makes survivors have a harder time doing gens near you with their skill checks, because in 2022, survivors have a lot of difficulty hitting those skill checks. And last but not least, we have Insidious. Insidious lets you stop moving and you change your game from tag to peekaboo. That's right, you stop moving and all of a sudden nobody knows where you are. You have just ninja'd out, ready for a good old jump scare. With these perks, you're going to have a hard time not sucking as a trapper. But to be on the safe side, let's look at some of those add-ons to stay away from. Both the Bloody Coil and Iridescent Stone make your traps far too powerful and should be avoided at all costs. In fact, avoid all of the coils, springs, and bags in the trapper's kit, as they make his traps far more useful than they have any right to be. Instead, try using these padded jaws combined with either coffee grounds, or in my case today, the trapper gloves. You're not going to be placing mini traps anyways, so these should not assist you much at all. Well, if you follow these easy to do steps, you too can suck as the trapper. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing and helps me a ton. If you hated this video, leave a comment down below. Tell me how I could suck as trapper even more. I'd love to hear it. Also, if you liked the video, go ahead and let me know what you liked about it so much. Because really, I don't know. This is going to be interesting. Now, if you loved this video and would like to see more in the series, please let me know in the comments below and what you might like to see. If you really want to support me, I've also got a Patreon linked in the description. I'd love to be able to do this full time, but only with support from people like you can I manage to do that. This has been the Bearded Hammer, and I want to wish everyone out in Streamland safe travels and have fun out in the fog.